An Ottawa filmmaker is having his film debut in New Orleans and tomorrow here in Ottawa at the Ottawa International Film Festival. The film is called Jackie Boy. It's controversial. The lead character is actually a self-destructive womanizer, and we'll talk to the director about that, Cody Campanale. And we also have an actor from the film, Edward Charette, who's joining us here in studio, and Cody is joining us from New Orleans. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Did I get that right?
Good morning.
First off, Cody, how does an Ottawa filmmaker how does that actually exist? Do we have filmmakers here in Ottawa?
Well, it's Ottawa has actually a really great community of filmmakers. I mean, it's smaller than Toronto, of course, or Montreal or Vancouver, but it definitely has a community of talent and of really ambitious people. And it's funny because when I first came back here, I was working in Toronto, and then I moved back to Ottawa. I said the same thing. I said, "Am I really going to find people here who are who are doing things?" But really, there's quite a bunch of really cool projects that are being shot here, and such. So it's a little hidden, but it's there.
Tell us about Jackie Boy. This is a play that you wrote when you were in university, and then you made it into a movie. I guess you shot it a couple of years ago. Tell us a little bit about the story.
So Jackie Boy is a movie about a self-destructive womanizer who falls for a girl that's kind of hell-bent on making him suffer for some of his past mistakes. So it's a little bit of a mystery. It's also a revenge drama. It sort of starts as this character piece and kind of transitions almost into a horror movie near the end. So it's got a lot of menace in it, a lot of intensity in it, and a lot of depth to it because it explores some really, I think, important issues in today's culture, like hookup culture, the emotional disconnect in young men. So it's kind of got a lot to it.
As soon as you mention, sex, violence, hookup culture, of course, controversy comes with it. But I just find it so weird that it's something that we see in our own lives, we hear in our own lives, and then as soon as we put it up on a screen, all of a sudden it's controversial, even though it's something that we see and deal with every day.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I always feel like it's not controversial. Like when I write something or a piece, I always think, well, I'm just writing, what's of interest to me of what I want to explore and what I'm seeing in the world around me. And I don't really look at it as controversial, but then you show it to other people and it becomes, they go, "Oh, well, this is pretty intense. You can't make this," or, "How do you want to deal with this?" So it is funny. I agree with you. I think that the reason why we feel that way as human beings is because sometimes when we shine a mirror, when we look at a mirror, look back at ourselves, we see things that we're not necessarily happy in our own happy about in our own society, in our own behaviors, and that can basically, make us feel uncomfortable. So I feel like that's why it is. But really, we shouldn't be that way. I think we should be willing to look at our faults and find ways to correct them.
Oh, absolutely, Edward. This is a pretty dark film. I read that some of the actors in the film had to find ways to just keep themselves up during it because it was so dark at times.
Yeah, it is an exceptionally dark movie. There are points, some of the hardest things I've ever had to do artistically are definitely in this movie.
Can you tell us what those were?
I can't say exactly what those are. I can say that I after one particular scene had to flip over a table because I was just so angry at myself and everything. There was crying from the cast and crew. It's intense.
Yeah, when you take yourself to a place like that, it's got to be tough.
It is brutal. It is brutal. but I think it's worth it, and I think you have to do that, and really experience it and really go for it to work.
What was it about the script that you loved?
Well, when I when I first read it, I there's just something so visceral about it, and I remember thinking, "Oh God, do I really want to do this?" But it's exciting, It pushes boundaries, and you read a lot of scripts as an actor, and it gets to a point where you read something like this, and you go, "Wow, I've never seen anything like this," and it's exciting.
You mentioned a little bit about it pushing boundaries, but are they boundaries that should be pushed? Is it things we should be talking about?
Oh, absolutely. I think so. I think that they're real issues. They're things that exist in our culture, and to not talk about it is foolish.
Are you going to be at the premiere here in Ottawa?
Absolutely. I'm very excited and utterly terrified. So.
Have you seen the final cut yet?
I haven't.
You really haven't?
I haven't. I've seen little clips, but I haven't seen it. So it's intense.
Cody, you're in New Orleans, where the film is it being debuted there tonight or tomorrow?
Yes, tonight at 6:45. It's playing here. We have 2 screenings in New Orleans, actually. So we have one tonight at 6:45, and then one on Monday. I won't be at the one on Monday. Some of my cast will be, and my producer Jeff Haynes will be. But I'm getting on a plane early tomorrow morning to be back in Ottawa, so that I can show it to my hometown, which is important to me to be at that screening. So. Got a busy weekend ahead.
Well, we're gonna post some information about the movie on our Facebook page so people can check it out. And best of luck to you. Thanks so much, both of you, for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cody Campanale is director and writer of Jackie Boy. Edward Charette is an actor, and he is in the film. You can catch it tomorrow as part of the Ottawa International Film Festival. It's at 4 o'clock down at Lansdowne Park.